The emerald threads of the Acolyte network continued their work, patiently weaving new patterns of understanding into the fractured consciousness of humanity. The geomantic display at the cliffside overlook showed vast swaths of the disk, no longer consumed by raw panic, but by a quieter, more profound bewilderment. The initial glimpses of the planar horizon deepened into pervasive, if still terrifying, awareness. Humans, once anchored by a spherical lie, now found themselves adrift in an infinite, flat expanse, their minds struggling to remap a reality that defied all their ingrained knowledge. "They are starting to perceive it, Master Arden," Ilara reported, her voice laced with a mixture of solemnity and a subtle awe. "The rage, as you predicted, has begun to give way to a stunned realization. They see the sky for what it truly is, a vast, distant dome, unchanging. They look to the horizon and find no curve, and the fear, though still present, is slowly transforming into a desperate need for explanation." Arden, the Prime Immortal, stood by the glass, his presence radiating a calm authority that seemed to steady the very air in the sanctuary. The unchained waterfall roared outside, a constant affirmation of the unbound key, echoing the monumental shift occurring on the disk. He felt the collective tremor of billions of minds recalibrating, a slow, painful process akin to shedding an ancient, comfortable skin. The remnants of the Syndicate were now little more than echoes. Zephyron's narratives, once so potent, had evaporated. His faction's attempts to re-establish spiritual order were met with a growing, cynical distrust from a populace that now understood the vastness of the lie they had been fed. He was a god whose temples had crumbled, his faith drained by the very truth he had sought to suppress. Kalen, meanwhile, consumed by a despairing rage, had retreated entirely. His last key blast aimed not at Arden or the Acolytes, but at the unsuspecting human populations he had once sought to control, were desperate acts of a broken mind, easily dissipated by Arden's peripheral interventions. The Syndicate, as a unified controlling entity, had ceased to exist. Their millennia of weaving had unraveled, leaving only ghosts and scattered fragments. Alyssin's presence, however, was still vibrant, though more focused. Her signature on Arden's display showed her now actively aligning with the Acolytes' efforts to spread understanding. While her initial methods had been brutal, her fundamental goal, humanity's awakening, now converged with Arden's own, albeit with a lingering urgency that spoke of her impatience. She amplified the Acolyte signals, lending her considerable expertise in human psychological manipulation to ensure the truths landed with maximum impact. Though sometimes with a sharper edge than Arden preferred. Alyssin is actively working with the Acolytes, Ilara observed, a note of surprise in her voice. Her transmissions are accelerating the revelation, but she's also providing frameworks for them to process it. She's surprisingly effective. Alyssin had always possessed a profound understanding of the human psyche. Arden, the Prime Immortal, acknowledged. Her desire was never for chaos for its own sake, but for liberation. Merely differed on the pace of the journey. Now the pace is dictated by the earth itself. He sensed a new impulse rising from the disk, a nascent collective drive towards the perceived edge. Not flight, but a strange, terrifying curiosity. Some humans, those least affected by the initial trauma, were attempting to organize, to physically venture beyond the boundaries of their old, unknown planar world. This was the first tentative step towards exploration, a direct consequence of the Acolyte's subtle guidance. The urge to explore is growing, Master, Ilara confirmed, noting seeking the wall, or seeking what lies beyond. Arden's gaze hardened. This is the ultimate test. And shatter the illusion. They had begun to guide humanity's perception. Now, the children of the Disk would look upon the true face of their world. The terrifying, magnificent reality of the flat Earth and the vast, unknown expanses beyond the Antarctic wall. This journey, from sheltered ignorance to profound truth, would leave indelible scars on the collective psyche. But Arden knew, with the ancient certainty of the Prime Immortal, that these scars were